everybody. Happy Monday. I, I'm looking at all of this. Good morning, Miss Michelle. You just popped in. I have to tell you, first of all, it is National Coffee Day. Can you believe it? Like how perfect and appropriate that it's on a Monday. And that it's today because for whatever reason, I could not sleep last night. I have never been one that has suffered with insomnia or really had trouble getting to sleep unless back in the day, and Daryl and Jen, you can probably relate to this. Michelle, you can probably relate to this. Susan, anybody, Allie, Elizabeth, the day after the dance recitals, back when I had my dance studio, the day after the dance, well, the day of the dance recital, that evening, I would always have trouble going to sleep. But it was because I was so wired, right? It was just an entire year's worth of work goes into this one evening for a few hours. And so I would struggle, like you'd finish the show and everything would be, you'd strike the sets and everything would be done and you'd load out of the theater and then you'd try to go get dinner and then you'd come home and you would just be still just kind of just adrenaline crazy. Those are the only times I would struggle going to sleep. But it's been a long time since I actively wanted to go to sleep and just could not. So, I'm glad that there's a filter on the face because otherwise it'd be very, very scary this morning. Also, I had to go for the big one. I had to go for the big coffee this morning. My little one just wasn't going to do it, guys. I needed to fill up with the 12 cupper. I mean, it's not really 12 cups of coffee, but at least I don't think so. But anyway, this is what I have today. So cheers to you and happy National Coffee Day. Did you know? I have to tell you, I did not know. My younger sister sent me a message. She is great with finding bargains and coupons and sales and stacking sales and coupons. And she had sent a message yesterday about it being National Coffee Day, and she sent me the link to all of the freebies. So I'm going to share that with you. So thank you, Jennifer, for letting me know that it was National Coffee Day. You'd think I would know that, but I've been a bit preoccupied lately, which we'll get into. But so first of all, as we chit chat this morning, I don't know anyone else that may have popped in. Good morning, Rose. You guys are all so amazing. Let's see. Fred. Whoa, Fred, good morning from Port of Miami. You're heading out on a cruise, we presume. Awesome. Where are you going? Oh, Jane, Fred responded to Jane, just finished a cruise. Nice. Very good. Well, I hope you had a nice, relaxing time. And by the way, how nice of you to like pop in on our little live stream this morning, as you've just finished what was hopefully a wonderful, relaxing vacation or trip. So, well, welcome back and thanks for joining in. Susan says the day after the recital is always a total crash for Sarah. Yes, it is. I remember that very much. So it was, I have to tell you though, like, oh gosh, I just loved the dance studio so much. And despite all of the angst and the energy that went into the show. And by the way, guys, I have to tell you and dance recitals, I think can be, they aren't all. I think some of them are very similar to what I did, but it was a show. It was a themed show. There was a common thread that went throughout the show. I remember being really proud that, dads typically, you just stereotypically, they don't want to go sit for several hours through a dance recital. Like they don't think it's important, but they'd go sit through, baseball game for 5 hours on a Saturday and a Sunday and travel. But I do remember that some of the dads would come up and they would always say, we really actually like the show. We really enjoy coming because it is, I mean, yes, it's a dance recital. It's to show their advances that they made over the year in their dance. But it was always really a show. And I always told my kids, and this comes from the performing background, right? You're not dancing for you. Oh, there's Molly. You can see Molly's tail somewhere. We're performing for the audience, right? We're doing something for you. So, it was a lot. And, the night after or the night of, sorry, the show's over. We would have our shows eventually. We got them to Saturday afternoons at 2:00, I think. So we'd be done by 6. And we'd be, starting to strike and head out and we'd go get dinner and then we'd come home. And I remember Eric and I would just lay in bed and my mind would be reeling with all these ideas for the next year. Like I was already on it, like in the bed we just locked up one show, and I am ready to start creating the next. And that was really so much fun. It was fun to kind of get those creative juices flowing. Anyway, that's, however, not what kept me up last night. I just don't know why I couldn't go to sleep. And I tried and I tried and I tried. Temperature was fine. I felt fine. I wasn't thirsty. I wasn't hungry. I don't know what it was, but I just could not sleep. So let me know what you do on those days. And because it's National Coffee Day, how do you like your coffee? I like mine, turning it around so you can see the Buc-ee's cup. I'll tell you about my Buc-ee's experience here shortly. But yeah, tell me how you like your coffee. Do you like your coffee? I don't like iced coffee. My daughters like iced coffee. But tell me, do you like your coffee hot? Do you like it cold? Do you like it with a lot of creamer? Do you like it black? Do you like it with sugar? Do you like it with half and half? And also, I learned that Coffee Mate, which is a brand of liquid and powder, but more specifically, I think the liquid coffee creamer is banned in other countries. And that's like half this cup right here. Like my coffee it's probably, this much coffee and then that much creamer. And that's really bad. I know. But I don't do anything else bad except the Diet Coke. Yeah, the liquid intake is probably not the healthiest. But how do you like your coffee? Do you like it hot? Do you like it cold? Do you like it black? Do you like it cream and sugar? Do you like it half and half? Do you like creamer? If so, what flavor creamer? Tell me all about your coffee preferences while I pull out my little cheat sheet and give you a little info about this National Coffee Day that we are enjoying today. So first of all, these are facts from the website that I got for the National Coffee Day. That coffee popularity, 66% of Americans say they have at least one cup daily, which is up almost 7% from 2020. So we have a lot of coffee drinkers. Wonder why. Most drink about 2.8 cups a day. And I'll be honest, I totally get the 0.8, right? Don't you? It's like I never finish the whole cup. My daughter does. She's very good. She'll reheat it and she'll take that last sip. But sometimes I leave some in there. So the 2.8, totally get it. I am probably that person, the 2.8. And this was with a survey of over 1,800 United States adults. And then here's another interesting one. 36% of people grab coffee away from home. So no wonder that coffee is such a big deal. Okay, so take your notes, okay? Because it is morning where we are here, right? East Coast. It is only 9. Gosh, it's already 9:10. Holy moly, I talk fast and a lot. Okay, 9:10 this morning. You've got all day to enjoy some of these freebies. Are you ready? So Dunkin' Donuts. And by the way, check the website and, I'm only reading what they said. So if they say no at the cash register, that's on them. I'm just telling you what I know. Dunkin' Donuts, you get a free medium, hot, or iced coffee when you purchase the Dunkin' app. Now, I don't know if that means when you purchase through the Dunkin' app or if it means you download the Dunkin' app. I don't know. So you might want to check. But Dunkin', you get a free medium, hot, or iced coffee when you purchase the Dunkin' app. DoorDash is giving you $6. I speak in percentages, right? Real estate. Giving $6 off of a Dunkin' order over $20. Here's the big one, guys. Krispy Kreme. Oh my gosh, how much do we love Krispy Kreme? I remember, Daryl, you might remember this, the Krispy Kreme that was on Broad Street, probably in Virginia, a gazillion trillion years ago when we all performed at King's Dominion. When the little hot donuts was flashing, oh my gosh, you just had to go. So, and you still do. By the way, there is a Krispy Kreme beside the Container Store by Millennium Mall. Just FYI, in Orlando. Krispy Kreme, free. Are you ready? Free cup of coffee and a donut. No purchase required. So medium, hot, or iced coffee and a free donut at Krispy Kreme today. So if you are near a Krispy Kreme, to my understanding, again, I reserve the right to be wrong, but this is what the little article said. Krispy Kreme, free cup of joe and donut. No purchase required, medium, hot, or iced coffee and a free donut. So if you're near Krispy Kreme, go enjoy celebrating National Coffee Day with a little freebie. Also, if you buy a dozen donuts, you get another dozen original glazed for only $1. Right? Oh my gosh. So that's all with Krispy Kreme. Free cup of coffee and a donut, no purchase required. And if you buy a dozen donuts, you get you get a dozen glazed donuts for $1. Let's see. Well, there's a couple other ones. Starbucks, you can buy any brewed coffee and you get 100 bonus stars, which essentially equals a free cup. Grubhub is giving you $7 off a Starbucks delivery off of $20. You have to order $20, you get $7 off. Atlas Coffee Club. I don't know if there's a whole long list, and depending on where you are in the country, um, some of these places may be close to you that I'm not referencing here. So make sure you go look and find out where your freebies are. But I have heard of Atlas Coffee Club. I can't speak today. I'm so tired. Free 12-ounce bag with subscription. And then Dutch Brothers, which we do have some Dutch Brothers here. 2 free car coasters with the purchase of 2 or more drinks. So there is a few ways to celebrate National Coffee Day here on our Monday morning aptly named Coffee Time, where we talk about real estate, like personal life. You're my friends, you're my family. And this is my fun little way to get me up in the morning. And even though I didn't sleep, but like, I think I counted, like almost 4.5 hours is about what I got. Yeah, so I'll probably take a nap today. Anyway, so let's get going. Did I miss anybody? Love you guys so much. I see some people. Fanny popped in. Good morning, Fanny. Kim is on. Good morning, Kim. I think I got everybody. Laura, I don't like coffee at all. Okay, well, I have to tell you, I think I started drinking coffee when I was performing at King's Dominion. And I think it was on like Saturdays when we'd have early calls. And I think it started in the fall, to be honest. I think it was because you get there up and early. It's a little bit more chilly in the mornings. And we'd go in and they'd always have that like multiple of big, commercial sized pots of coffee going there in the green room. And that would be a way to kind of help get us up and get us going for the day. But Jane says, hot or cold, sugar-free vanilla syrup and too much creamer. Jim says hot cream and sugar. Yep, hot with cream and sugar. Love it. Jane, we can't get the liquid coffee mate in UK. I wonder why. It's from what I understand, it's just not healthy. There's just stuff in it that is not good for you. I mean, I'm not going to get all political or anything. That it's just there's a lot of things in it that we can't have or that we shouldn't have. And that, maybe the oversight, we have a lot of preservatives in our food. It was just a lot of bad stuff in our food. So if they don't allow it in your country, take that as probably a health blessing. But for me, I'm still by my giant carafe version of the coffee mate. Probably hazelnut, although everyone, if you start to see, because we're getting into that season, I like the frosted gingerbread. Doesn't really taste like gingerbread. I bought that last year, I think, and ended up becoming one of my favorites, but it's seasonal. So anyway, okay, so let's see. Melody, I have coffee with my creamer and hot in the morning, occasional iced coffee in the early afternoon, unless it's Friday, then I have a later afternoon iced coffee. Very good. Pam, I love coffee. I used to always drink my coffee with just half and half, but switch to 2% milk and put it in. Oh, that's a good idea. And put in my froth. I love it. Well, I love it. That's what you said. And that's what I said. I also love drinking mushroom coffee in the morning. Okay, we're going to have to talk. You have to send me a message about what that means. Sydney says she likes coffee hot, cold in the summer, caramel macchiato. Yes. Cream, no sugar. Creamer's sweet enough. 1 cup a week every Sunday. I like coffee, but it doesn't like me. You know what? I kind of get that. Yeah. Daryl, other than drinking it, Jen definitely likes to hold it curled up in a chair. Amen. See, here's the thing. See, Jen's my girl. That's it. Like, I totally envision Jen and I one day. It's probably going to be a vacation because I'm never going to get to live on the water like I kind of thought one day I would. But I imagine one day we'll have like a little getaway and I'll be there. I'll be the third wheel. We never got to do our couples sandals resort thing that we were going to do in the Bahamas, but I totally do that. Like blanket, book, coffee, snuggled up. Yes, sir. I'm with her. So one day we'll do that, and she and I, just for the sake of the picture moment, the photo op, and the moment of breath and clarity, we'll go sit on the beach, snuggled up in a chair. We'll bring a blanket. We'll bring a book. Actually, we don't need a book because we'll just talk the whole time. But anyway, I'm with you. Sydney, pumpkin spice creamer till New Year's now. Yes, I totally get it. Mushroom coffee at Pam Hickman. Okay, I'm not ready. I don't know what that means, so I have to figure it out. Okay, all right. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, yes. Jay says I like peppermint mocha creamer year round. Oh, here we go. We're getting the explanation. We drink rice, Mushroom coffee helps with bloating and digestion. It definitely doesn't taste like regular coffee, but it works great and keeps you going most of the day. Oh, okay. And then she has a regular cup in the afternoon. All right. Well, maybe I should look into that. Okay. And then Kim says, didn't start drinking coffee until I was 50. I still only do 1 cup a day. Like I said, I'm probably the 2.8er. I don't know. I don't really know how many full cups because I get going on it and then I put it down and then I get onto something else and then I go back and there's still like, a big thing left. Although today I think this one's going to be drained dry because I'm so tired. All right, so let's get ourselves going with our brewing topics for today, shall we? Okay, so our topics today. I did a few big gulps of my coffee. I closed the lid. That's why I like these because you can where's the thing? So you can close the lid so you can keep it nice and warm even when you sit here and talk forever. Okay, brewing topics for today. Dawson visit at JMU. Go Dukes. Got to see my boy. Oh my gosh. Benefits of buying a home in the fall. Yeah, you know what? There are some. So we're going to talk about those today. And I was actually starting to do a series, and as I was going through what I'm going to do for you next week, I realized that I was kind of accumulating more of this essentials list and some things that you should probably get yourself prepped and ready for. So that's what we're going to do today. Those are our 3 brewing topics. So make sure you grab your coffee, your tea, your water, your juice, your mushroom coffee, whatever it is that you desire, and join us as we start our brewing topics. Here is number 1. Okay. So it was a big weekend, lots of traveling, lots of driving, lots of everything. To JMU Parents Weekend was this past Saturday and Sunday. It was honestly not the greatest weekend for weather. It was kind of rainy, kind of drizzly. You can see we don't look as wet as we actually were, but it was kind of wet. It was one of those that was at times just drizzly and annoying, and you didn't really want to have an umbrella up because it wasn't that bad. But then if you didn't have it, you were just standing there in the rain all day. It was kind of constant. But I got to see my boy, and I have to tell you, it just made my heart so happy. I've missed him ever since he went back, and he went back to school early. I don't think classes didn't start until the middle or maybe like the 20th of August. But he went early because he has a job there. And so he went early to go ahead and start training so that he could be cranking out the hours and be fully trained before school started. It just made more sense. And I agreed. So he's been gone a while. He's been gone a hot minute. So I missed him terribly. So he wanted me to see kind of what they kind of do and where they go. Now he's in a fraternity there. And so we went to, and of course there was a home football game. So go Dukes. They beat Georgia Southern 35-10. Had to see the score. 35-10. We actually did not go to the football game. We just kind of hung out at their frat house. My first experience with this. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. Can we just say, pion, it's nasty. It's gross. It's really bad. So, but it's also really cool because the house was built in 1900. So the house has all these rooms, all these floors, basement, attic, all these tiny real fireplaces. Now they're not working any longer because they're frat houses now, and they're not the glorious homes that they were back in their day. But they had little corner fireplaces. You could just really see what it was. And oh my gosh, if it wasn't a day where it was rainy and, it's a frat house and it was Parents Weekend, there's a lot of activity going on. Oh my gosh, I just wanted to sit in that house and just rub my hand around the molding and the door trims and the ornate kind of touches that were everywhere. And just imagining what it was like back in its glory, back when it was a new home. Just absolutely gorgeous. Giant, huge porches. You can see there, if you look at the pictures, the one on the left, we decided to walk to the bookstore. We hung out at the frat house for a little bit. And actually it was 2. We saw his house and then we drove to another one, which is where kind of the party was. And then after we were there for a while, we walked to the bookstore, ran into a friend of mine from high school. Dawson and I are walking and she says, she goes, Amy? And I turned around and she's like, Anastasia. So I got to see a friend from high school very randomly, which was cool. But that's us. If you look at that middle picture where Dawson and I are standing, he's got his arm around me. That is the White House. That's what they call their fraternity calls that the White House. That is not where he lives, but that's where their celebration, their party was, where they hang out pretty much on the weekends. But when you see the bottom right one, I'm sitting on that front porch with a dog named Bo. Bo became my buddy while we were there. Love my fur babies. That was the dog of one of Dawson's friends. So I just kind of sat there and hung out with him and gave him some little pretzel goldfish crackers. And he was my buddy. So we got to sit together and hang out. And anyway, and you know what was interesting is as I was leaving, trying to get back on the road, I literally got stopped. The next car at the stoplight, I was the one, it turned yellow. I needed to stop. And then out comes all of the giant buses with Georgia Southern's team and all of their special cars and the extra buses for the band and all of that stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be stuck behind them forever. Turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because once they got on the interstate with police escort, by the way, to kind of help get all of their crew in a caravan on the road, I was able to kind of just be behind them. And that was kind of cool. So, so that was, here I was being all grumpy, little Debbie Downer, and then it turned out to be a nice little perk there. As long as I was patient for a minute or two, it was great. So anyway, so that's my story about JMU. Yeah, Kim, like gross does not even cover it, my friend. It was really, well, here's the thing. First of all, it's guys. So there's no focus put on cleanliness of anything, but, anyway, I kind of wish I could walk around and just clean things up. But then I realized I think we might need a hazmat suit. But anyway, he's happy. And as you know, when you're a parent, all that you really care about is if your kids are happy. They're happy and healthy, and he is both. So super happy to see him. Get to see him hopefully here in a few weeks when they have fall break. That's still to be determined. But anyway, all right, let's move on to our second brewing topic. Good morning, Gary Wandry. I see you popped in. Good morning, sir. All right, so benefits to buying in the fall. So I have talked a lot about the uncharacteristically slow spring and summer that we have had here. Now, remember, that is really referencing this specific market. It's kind of happening in most places, but not everywhere. So make sure that just because we may be talking and referencing things here, that if you're actually located in another state or another area, reach out to your local professional there and find out what their market has been doing. But for us, it's been uncharacteristically slow spring and summer. And as we've said, as the holidays approach, once Labor Day hits, kids go back to school, for us, early August. Once that happens, you do start to see the trickle of foot traffic, and it starts to change quite a bit. But there are a few benefits. So let's be optimistic and let's talk about those. So the first one is that there's few buyers. So that is a negative for sellers, but that's a positive for buyers, because if there's only a few buyers, then you have more options, right? There's not as many people competing over the same property. So I'm not saying you should take your time, as I am a firm believer. Don't stall and delay. If there's something that you want, don't assume it will be there tomorrow. Now, it doesn't mean make a rash decision. It doesn't mean don't be thoughtful or thorough with your decision. But for the people who sometimes like, well, I'm just going to wait and see, and then all of a sudden they end up losing it, and then you start the process all over again, and they missed out on the house that they really truly loved because they thought if they waited another week or two because the market's slow that they would get a better deal. In the grand scheme of things, let's make sure that we remember what it is we're trying to accomplish. Okay, so fewer buyers means less competition. So there's few buyers out there. There's not as many people out there looking at that same property that you're looking at. Therefore, yeah, maybe you can think about it a little bit. But the sellers also might be a little bit more motivated to go ahead and get this home sold before the holidays. So sellers, and a lot of them have had their market on. Mm-hmm. Had their home on the market throughout the uncharacteristically slow spring and summer. Some people have just put them on the market, and I have a few listings that are actually getting ready to come up kind of during the slower time, but because that's their life. That's what works for them. That's what's necessary. It's what's required because of their personal situation. But, because there's homes on the market, the sellers might be a little bit more motivated to sell before the holidays. They might be a little bit more accommodating to an offer, maybe with some incentive attached, or maybe if it's slightly lower. Again, I'm not going to tell you how to be strategic with your offer because we have no idea what we're talking about, what house, what's the price point, what's the value. But it's fair to say that your agent can do their due diligence and make sure that we take a look at the pricing, see where it is, and try to get you as good a deal as possible while still getting the seller under contract with an acceptable offer and getting you to close by the holidays, which is fun. Another benefit is that because it's the slower season, all of our support system that is involved in getting you to the finish line, your title companies, your lenders, your inspectors, your contractors, anybody that you need to have their input or advice or their work and their due diligence to get us to the finish line, they're not as overwhelmed because they don't have 50 closings this week. They might only have, 40 closings this week. So they got a little bit more time. And, it just can help the process can be expedited a little bit. It doesn't mean that you're going to get through the underwriting process necessarily any faster. I mean, some of those things are going to take what they're going to take, but it does mean that, you may have faster turnaround with an inspector. If during the inspection you find that there's something that you might want to have looked at further and you need to get a contractor out there to give you an estimate, they're going to be a little bit more available and a little bit more accommodating. So that is actually a benefit. There could be some tax benefits. Obviously, I'm not a tax consultant or a financial planner, so you want to make sure that you reach out to your own tax consultant or a financial planner. But there are some benefits sometimes when you close toward the end of the year when it comes to those property taxes. Curb appeal in the fall. I don't know about you, but fall to me is absolutely the best, most welcoming time. So summer is wonderful. It's bright, it's airy, it's just free, it's breathy. Christmas is very bright and colorful and exciting. Okay. I'm trying to find the right adjectives to kind of describe the way I feel when I walk up to someone's house during those seasons. But fall, hands down, is the most welcoming with your front porch, with those cozy, warm colors, the pumpkins, just the floral arrangements, the mums that are out there, tying in all of those neutral, kind of cozy, warm colors. And back to what Daryl was talking about earlier, a blanket and a cup of coffee has never felt so good as it does in the fall. Winter, it might be too cold. Summer's way too hot. In the fall, you might just find that perfect day where a little bit of chill, a little bit of crisp air, a little freshness, a little cup of coffee is going to go a long way. It's going to be really fun. So curb appeal is definitely so welcoming in the fall. So if you are a seller, by the way, selling now, take that into account and make sure that you snazzy up your front porch and make it that welcoming so that they too can envision themselves there either this fall or next fall when they get to enjoy it. And then enjoy the holiday season in your new home. For a lot of people, especially with families with kids, it's really nice to be in place where you're going to be for the holidays and not going through the chaos of moving in. And this comes from someone who did that twice. 2 times, both homes in Florida thus far, I have closed the day or 2 days like before Thanksgiving. True story, like legit true story. And it's both exciting, but it's also chaotic because, you're trying so desperately to get your home ready to make it that nest, that place that's going to be wonderful for everyone to come and gather and to create those new memories while you're still trying to figure out where the blender is going to go in the kitchen or, where's the linen closet? Do we have the towels for that? So it's still a little bit cuckoo crazy, but at any rate, if you buy in the fall, you should be in your home in time for the holidays. So hopefully that's a good one. So yes, Fred, I adore you. Fred says, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the holidays. Yes, sir. You guys, you take such good care of me, and I just absolutely adore each and every one of you. All right, let's go to Brewing 3, which was, what was Brewing 3? Oh, my favorite. Okay, so this is the one that started because next week I'm going to give you an idea. This is my list. And again, I've done this enough times. I've sold enough houses that I think all the time about what you really need on day one, the day that you move in. Now, that list may be different slightly between new construction and resale, but a lot of it is going to be the same. And for instance, here's just a few, and I could go on and on and on. And by the way, if you've got a great tip, throw it in here and let's add it to the list. So for move-in day, now not everyone stays in their home the day that they move in, right? So sometimes they're like, well, I don't have blinds up in the windows and there's no beds yet. So day one is just going to be kind of coming in and doing a few things. That's what we're going to talk about next week. But no matter what home, where you buy, when you buy, these are some things that you should put into a bin, a little crate, a little suitcase, a little bag, whatever it is, and have these with you so that you can immediately take them in first thing. The first thing that comes in the house is this bag of the essentials. So a few of those items are toiletries, shampoos, soaps, deodorants, hairbrushes, just things like that that you might need. For me, forget the hairbrushes, just going back up in a clip. Toilet paper, obviously you need that for the restrooms. Paper towels and rags. I didn't put rags, but you might want to add a few rags in there. Tools, you don't have to have your big, massive everything yet, but it's good to have a good small toolkit with several screwdrivers, wrenches, pliers, scissors, things like that. Speaking of, all right, so after tools, we have trash bags. I just mentioned that. Trash bags. Also, scissors. You want to make sure you have scissors. The number of times that people go and they move into their house and then they realize that they don't have any way to open up all these boxes that they've taped shut. So they're using their keys. Scissors. I keep scissors in my car all the time. Because you just never know when you're going to need them. So trash bags, by the way, that's the one before it. Don't forget trash bags, because when you move in, you're going to have a lot of stuff that you're unpacking, the bubble wrap or the wrapping paper, all of that stuff. You want to put those in the bags. So trash bags, scissors, chargers. Don't forget your phones, chargers, or if you have your laptop, chargers. Make sure that you bring those with you. I think we're kind of conditioned now that when we grab our phone, we take a charger with us, or you always have one in your car, but just make sure that you've got those so that you can keep them charging, so that you don't get stuck in your house with no connection to the outside world. Make sure to bring a change of clothes. It doesn't mean you have to bring all of your suitcase and pack your closet and get your dresser ready, but have a change of clothes, extra t-shirt, extra pair of shorts or sweatpants, whatever it is you need. First aid kit. I cannot tell you, my friends, can you make sure that you've got a whole bunch of Band-Aids and some Neosporin ointment? Just make sure you've got that antibiotic ointment. Because the number of paper cuts that you were going to get are cuckoo crazy. So just make sure you have a small first aid kit. And in that first aid kit, then the item below that is medications. Make sure you have not only whatever medications you need for you, but make sure you have things like Tylenol or Advil or whatever you use for headaches or pain, because you're going to need them. So first aid and medications. Make sure you have some basic snacks and some water bottles or drinks, refreshments, whatever it is that you need to kind of keep you going throughout the day. Flashlight. I know that's silly, but the number of times that you may have to look up under a sink to check something, or power goes out because it's either a new house or maybe you forgot to get the utilities transferred. Make sure you bring a flashlight. Make sure you have just a pack of paper plates, napkins, paper cups, and some plastic utensils, just in case you decide to order some pizza from somewhere, have that delivered. That's always the fun thing to do on day one. Get your pizza delivered. For those of you that are like me that eat your pizza with a knife and fork, at least in the beginning, until I get it closer to the crust, I use a knife and fork. So make sure you have some plastic plates, cups, and utensils. Or if you're a little bit more environmental friendly, which you should be, then make sure you have a kitchen essentials box that's ready to unpack, where you have some actual plates and utensils ready to go in the event that you need that. Make sure you bring a couple of bath towels. Make sure you have some dish soap, because you're going to need to wash your hands when you go to the bathroom, please. Bring some cash. Excuse me. Preferably some small bills, just in the case that somebody happens to come and help out. If someone, neighbor pops by and they decide they want to help you lift that dresser, or excuse me, whatever the case is, have some. You don't have to have, hundreds or anything, but, have some 20s, 10s, 5s, and some 1s. That would be good. Notebook and a pen, because you're going to want to make a list day one. Take a picture of each room. It's always a good idea, especially if it's new construction. Take a picture of each room before you kind of move everything in, and then make little notes as you go, because you may not have noticed that, that third drawer from the right in the kitchen sticks every single time, and you didn't notice it because, you just didn't notice it before. Now you noticed it, so make a note of it. And then let's see, what else do we have? Bedding. If you're going to have your bed, that's fine. If you're going to have a blow-up mattress, that's fine. If you're going to sleep on the floor, that's fine. If you're not going to sleep at the house, that's also fine. Just make sure you have like a blanket and a pillow, just in case you need something. And then, of course, all-purpose cleaner. Make sure you have something where you can wipe down counters, faucets, fixtures, things like that. All-purpose is fine until you get moved in, until you get to really being in the house. Now you've had time to go to the grocery store. You've stocked your pantry. You've gone to the grocery store. You've stocked your refrigerator. You've got all of your cleaning supplies. Everything is kind of ready and at bay. Now, for the first day, it's good to just have some of those general things, just to have them. And I promise you'll be so grateful that you did. Our first house, and I did this for a while. I change things all the time, but when we first moved in, our builder gave us a big planter, and inside the planter was filled with a lot of those items that I just mentioned. It was a roll of toilet paper, a roll of paper towels, some tape, like some Scotch tape. Add that to the list. I promise you'll need it. Scissors, a Sharpie. I think I said trash bags. A couple waters in there, a couple of little, like, just small size of chips or pretzels or something. It was a really great essentials move-in list, and it was move-in package, and it was really nice. And it was housed in a really nice big planter, like a big plastic planter, which was nice, so that then you could actually reuse that part of it and plant something. So anyway, so there's my list. I know I missed some because there's a lot of things that you can probably think of. We don't want to go super crazy, make it so big that you're lugging in 5 suitcases for your essentials list. But that should be enough that you could fit that into a nice big oversized tote bag and bring it in. So, Sydney, everything I think of, you already have on the list. Well, that's good. That's pretty thorough then. Wilderness explorer, great items. My wife always tells me to bring my patients. Aha! I love that. I absolutely love that. We should add that to the list for sure. This includes those of us who rent. This is a very accurate list for the first night day. Yeah, you're exactly right. 100%. Whether or not this is move-in day or whether it's like you're moving in because you're renting, same thing. These are important things. And, when we talk tomorrow, we're not going to talk tomorrow, guys. When we talk next week, we will talk about the first day that you move in, what you should plan to accomplish that day. And this is just based off of my experience. It's a suggestion. Some people don't need to do that. And that list will also vary between new construction and resale. So there's certain things you want to do with your new construction home on day one that you may not have to do if it's resale, and vice versa. So we'll talk about that a little bit next time. But anyway, so there were our brewing topics. We did pretty good on that one already. Yeah. All right, let's move on because there's so much to get to today. So let's go to secret. Okay, so I saw my Elizabeth had said something earlier, but this was already our secret for today. H Mart is open. This is a huge, big, and beautiful Asian/international food market in Orlando. It's in Orange County. It's not necessarily in Horizon West. The address is up top. It's 7501 West Colonial Drive. It's in the Westland Terrace Plaza. 100,000 square foot international food market. It's the first location of H Mart in Florida. And it has special groceries and produce and products. There's even a dining hall. And I believe there's even a place for other like businesses to kind of come in, or vendors to kind of come in there. I know that there's a Korean market that Hong would go to quite a bit. Super excited that this one now exists. And I believe it just opened a few days ago. So if you are in the area, go by, take a look. Looks amazing. And again, there's a dining hall. So if you're not there to shop, then go there to eat, my friends, and figure out something. Maybe you'll be turned on to a new type of cuisine that you're not used to. If you are a foodie like that, I'm not a big foodie. I'm not too adventurous, but yeah, that is fantastic. We're super, super, super excited about that. That's going to be so helpful to so many people to have such a wonderful facility there in the Orlando area, there in Orange County. So yay for that. And if you've already been, if any of you have already gone, let me know what you thought. And if you haven't, then go this week and then tell me next week when you went. What's it look like? I don't think I'll be able to get there, but let's see, what else do we have? You know what? Let's do scoop. Okay, so I noticed this on the the Orange County website. It's just the Florida Preparedness Month 2025. So it's just a matter of a reminder, as we know and we have seen all of the depressions that are out in the out in the ocean, starting to turn. That kind of happens, right? And so it's just a good reminder to have a Florida Preparedness Month. And by the way, it doesn't have to be Florida. Other states get hit by hurricanes all the time, and it's not just hurricanes. It's really anything that, you know, Mother Nature is a beast. She's a fierce warrior, and you really cannot compete with her if she decides to make her mind up about something. So it's important that we take that seriously, and that we know that sometimes, you know, thank goodness, you know, as much as I kind of hate technology and don't understand it in so many capacities, how wonderful that we have it, and that we know way in advance that these things are coming, and that they're starting to form, and that they're heading our direction, or that they're going to go another direction. And even when we don't know, we at least know. And I just think about our ancestors, you know, generations and generations and generations back, where they would just be hit out of nowhere. So let's do the right thing. Let's go ahead and get our emergency preparedness box ready. Know your zone, know your home. That's important. If you don't know, you can always go to the website and kind of find out where you are, if there's any type of an evacuation route that's required, if that's mandated. Know your home really means understand your home. You remember when you did the new homeowner orientation with your builder? Do you remember that day? If it's new construction, obviously if it's resale, you don't. But if it's resale, we need to figure it out. If it's new construction and you do that new homeowner orientation, they talk about, this is your emergency water shutoff valve. That's where it is. Do you remember where it is? No? You don't remember? Well, we'll go back and talk about it. But there's a pipe on the outside that goes from the exterior, and there's a little lever. And that the lever is down where it is in line with the pipe. That means your water is on. If you turn it so that it's perpendicular, you've cut the water off. Go find it. But you need to look at things like that. Just know your home, right? Know where vents are. A lot of times when there are storms, people get so like bent out of shape, and I get it, because it's your house. You paid lots and lots and lots of money for it, and you don't want there to be any defects in the construction. But houses aren't meant to have rain come up, swoop up in. And sometimes when it swoops up in because of the wind, and it keeps doing that constantly, sometimes that water doesn't have a directed path to drain, because it wasn't supposed to have water in it to begin with. So sometimes you'll start to see a lot of times around vents. So take a look. Where are the vents? Do any of those vents lead to the outside? Take a look at that. Know your home. Make individualized disaster preparedness plans. Make sure that you reach out to your family, your friends, your kids, your neighbors. Make sure that you have a plan as to what you're going to do and where you're going to go if that situation arises. Keep a fully stocked disaster supply kit. They actually have an entire supply kit. We've talked about that here probably every year. We kind of go over that with you as well, but there's lots of ways you can do your own fully stocked, honestly, very similar to the day one move-in essentials list. Very similar. The only thing you want to add to that is a little bit more money, and make sure you have all of your important papers, driver's licenses and passports, and all of your legal documents that you might need if you're going somewhere. Make sure you have those in a waterproof bag. Keep your vehicle halfway full or halfway charged. I have to tell you, I don't understand the halfway part of it. I always thought, well, why wouldn't you want it to have fully charged? But maybe they're saying keep it at least halfway full or at least halfway charged. I don't know. But this is their graphic, not mine. FloridaDisaster.org/guide. Evacuate tens of miles, not hundreds of miles. That actually is a really good tip. And because that's really what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get out of the initial path. So, just follow instructions by the people that are telling us what's coming, where to go, and how to get there. But just make sure that you're prepped and ready. So anyway, so I thought that was a good one too. I have my kit. I always kind of have it. There's like, I have lanterns in there as well. There's canned food, and that goes for the dogs too. You want to make sure that you've got extra food for pets, medications for pets. If you've got babies, make sure you have diapers and wipes. My mom had a really good idea for our first hurricane that we had, which is Irma, I think. Irma, that hit us when not too long after we moved in. Baby wipes, that's another thing you can add to your list, because that's a multi-service, a multi-purpose type thing. Not only will it clean your hands, but it will clean an object, it will clean a surface, clean the baby. So that's kind of a multi-purpose thing. So if you could go grab some of those. All right, let's move ourselves on. Did I missing anything? Okay, we're new wishes. Okay, so we have Christine. Yeah, I know. Christine, Mike, and Maria. So we have a listing coming up, and we have an amazing group, a couple groups of people that are getting ready to move in and call Central Florida home. So in some cases, we're just getting started in the process, and in other cases, we're getting ready to contract on them. So so congratulations to them. We'll get some more wishes as we go. That's actually a lot. I thought it was going to be fewer than that this week, because it doesn't feel like it's been as busy and as chaotic as it has been. But yeah, I forgot Kristen and Christine and Mike and Maria. So congratulations to all of them. All right, let's keep going. This one, we're going to go, as we're talking about houses, let's just talk about the Okay, so the listing spotlight is the one that is out in the Villages at Mineola Hills. This is the one on Huntsman Ridge in Mineola, 485,000, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. The primary is on the first floor in this home, guys. So if you're looking for a first floor primary, this one has it. First floor primary. Upstairs has 3 more bedrooms, as well as a loft space upstairs. 2,226 square feet, just built in 2023. Beautiful community amenities, HOAs, about $150 a month. And this is out in Mineola. And if you are not familiar with Mineola, it is an amazing area. It is, I won't even say it's up and coming. It's already there. The hospital is so close to being done. Pam and John, I think you're there like all the time. Tell me the last time I was there, like that hospital, I am always amazed at how fast those things can go. They look like they're ready. They may not be ready on the inside, but just the whole area in general, the big shopping area that's coming, all that's already come. My McDonald's is there. I've got my own Mineola McDonald's. I have them everywhere to get my Diet Coke. But this home is a beautiful, really quite lovely, nice flooring, nice finishes, a beautiful home. Meritage is the builder, so very energy efficient with a spray foam insulation, which is really great for the energy efficiency aspect of it. So if you're interested in this one, give me a call and we'll make sure that we get you in to take a peek at that one. All right. And then on that note, the listings, the other ones we have, the Winter Garden 1-story, $15,000 closing cost contribution offered by the sellers. This is the 1-story in Winter Garden right there in Horizon West, guys, just minutes from Disney. And I mean, when I say minutes, I don't mean like, 5,000 minutes. No, I mean like it's like within not even 10 minutes, like 5 to 7 minutes, you're at the back little arch there on Western Way. Mineola 2-story, we just talked about that one. That's our featured home of the week. And then we have the Windermere Townhome. The Windermere Townhome, guys, is right off of Reams Road. So if you are familiar with that area, if you have a friend or a family member, or if you yourself are looking for a townhome, this is an end unit townhome, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2.5 baths rather. And this one is right. They're super convenient to Disney cast member parking. This is at Disney, and this is where a lot of the people who work and love and laugh and play at Disney like to stay. They either rent there or they own there. So if you are looking to own a property, maybe it'll be your rental property. Maybe you can buy it and use it as a rental. It is not short-term rental in this area. It is it is residential. So you need to have a 12-month lease, which is even better. But if you are looking to purchase it, I've had a lot of clients actually purchase townhomes for their children, kind of doing the same myself, for their children to be able to have a place to stay. They get a roommate. The roommate pays rent, kind of helps out with everything. It's a great situation and priced super well. So if you're interested in that one, give me a call. And then we also have the Davenport 2-story. We've now added a $10,000 closing cost contribution on this and lowered the price by $10,000. So that is a $20,000 swing, guys. So that is a big house, that one in Davenport. It is 5 bedrooms. And it has a bedroom on the first floor, as well as a full bath on the first floor, as well as a powder bath on the first floor. I say that because these are the things that matter to me when you walk through the home. You've got a bedroom on the first floor for anyone who cannot or does not want to do stairs, and they also can have their own private bathroom while still having that powder bath on the first floor for anybody that's visiting. Upstairs has a huge loft as well as the additional bedrooms. Not zoned short-term rental, so it's not. Don't think of it as an Airbnb. It is a residential community as well, even though it's in Davenport. Winter Garden, beautiful home in Lakeview Preserve. It's a gated community. Enormous amenities there. Pulte is the builder. Pulte and Taylor Morrison both were building in that community, and there's also a really, really generous closing cost contribution for that one. 55 plus, we have Four Seasons by KF Nanian. They're in Kissimmee, super duper close to Disney. This one has a $10,000 closing cost contribution and another end unit townhome. This one's in Hawksmoor. Love, love, love Hawksmoor. Great, great end unit townhome. And yes, I know a lot of you are going, those are a lot of listings that have been there for a while. I know. Fully transparent. There's no, I can't concoct my own little, thing in my little cauldron here. And all we can do is continue to market and push and show and share and let everyone know that these homes exist, because as we go back to the reasons to buy in the fall, there's fewer buyers and there's a lot of sellers. So it's taking a little bit longer for some of these. So share those if you've got anybody that might be interested. I think those are good ones. All right. This is a good one for upcoming holiday season.
Oh, now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
Okay, so this is our real estate term of the day, which is stigmatized property. So I say this, and I'm thinking like Halloween. If you're thinking, remember last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was that I did my my suggested books for being all comfy and cozy and grabbing a book and grabbing that cup of coffee and grabbing that blanket and kind of just immersing yourself into what we imagine fall to be. Sometimes it's a little warmer than we want, but when the book is How to Sell a Haunted House, which I just think is a funny title considering what I do. No, I'm not selling you haunted houses. But stigmatized property is actually a term. It is a thing. It is not anything that affects the structure of the home. It's not a defect of the home, but it could be known that it's a little bit more undesirable for a buyer. For instance, maybe there was a death in the home. Maybe there was a murder in the home. Maybe there was a suicide in the home. Maybe there are rumors that it's haunted or that there's been some paranormal activity. Maybe it was a celebrity's home, whether they were good or bad. Maybe there was a scandal that took place at that home or around that home. And that can make the community, or that property rather, stigmatized. And so it can affect those things that go around it, whether or not it has anything to do with the roof or the foundation or the structure of the home. Okay. The value of it could be affected by some of those things and for the perception of a buyer for that. Doesn't mean that you're going to get a super great deal on it, because the value is still what the value is, but it could potentially affect it. Now, here's what's interesting is that depending on what state you're in most cases, those things are not required to be disclosed. It's not like when the seller does the seller's property disclosure, there's not a line on there, did someone die in the house? Because, as we've learned, people pass away, sometimes in their house. And I will tell you, that was the one thing Eric did not, that's why he went to hospice. That's why he went to hospice. Anybody that was around us, Daryl, anybody that was there, he said, nope, I don't want to be in the house. So that's why he went to hospice straight away instead of doing hospice at our house. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the point is, those things do not have to necessarily be disclosed legally by your agent or by by the buyer's agent or by the listing agent or by the sellers. That could vary depending on where you live. So I'm not a licensed realtor in every state here in the United States. But I will tell you that some of those things do not necessarily need to be disclosed because they don't affect the actual structure of the property. It's just really a buyer's perception of the value, but it could affect it. So anyway, I thought that was a good one for today. Did you like that term? Did you learn something new? All right, let's keep going, my friends. What I'm watching. Okay. All right, guys. This is my guilty pleasure, sort of. I stopped watching it for a long time. There's been many years that I stopped watching it because I was just getting tired of the way it seemed to be produced and rigged, candidly, from a novice's perspective, just watching it. But I did watch this season mostly because I was just trying to find something to keep me busy at night when I go to bed. I'd find things to watch to kind of keep my brain going. I think that's one way I am, just candidly, just sidebarring a little bit. I think that's one way that I'm handling grief is I'm keeping my mind going all the time, which is really exhausting. So I do imagine a really big like colossal meltdown at some point. And I have little ones. I always say it's kind of like a sponge that is oversaturated and it will just kind of continually drip, but sometimes you just need to squeeze it out so that you can kind of start all over again. And let it fill back up with more tears and more grief. But anyway, another sidebar. Big Brother, watched it. The big finale was last night. And I have to tell you, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I think, I don't know if anybody has watched this, if anybody had their favorite one. If you did not watch the finale, but you do watch this and you don't know who won, then just go ahead and mute me right now. Because I don't want to spoil it, but I'm sure everybody knows because was on the CBS News or whatever this morning. But so my actual favorite that I wanted to win, shockingly was Keanu. I think he got a bad rap. He was big and bulky and massive and fit and strong and definitely a physical threat in the house. As far as winning competitions, if you don't know the show, it's not like a physical threat, like he's gonna hurt anybody. Physical threat in some of the physical competitions. But I don't know. There was something about him that I was like, he was just him. He got out several weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago. But yeah, the final was between Vinny and Ashley, and of the two of them, it was Keanu, and then it was Vinny for me to win it, to be honest. And I'm so sad that Vinny didn't win it. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on that. So a little sad. It was a little lackluster. Yeah. I'm bummed. Anyway, so let's move on to our last couple of things. Oh, no, company. Okay, so I have to say, all right, so last week when we talked about our comfy, cozy fall, like snuggle in, let's just kind of immerse ourselves in that. Let's get a book, let's get our coffee, let's get a blanket, let's get comfy, cozy. Let's make some taco chili. We talked about this, and I told you this was my favorite. I make this all the time. I think I'm gonna have to make it this week now because we've talked about it so much. This is our lovely Susan Forsgren right here. Coffee time right here. Happy Monday. Maddie and I are watching while his mommy rests. But Susan sent this picture. She made taco chili. I think it was that day, wasn't it, Susan? Or like the next day? Anyway, so I added the recipe because I just verbally spoke about it last week. It literally is from a 5-ingredient cookbook that I had when the kids were all at the house and it was like everything was just busy. It was a crock pot recipe, 5 ingredients, quick and easy. I should hopefully remember the ingredients when I go to the grocery store. So pound of ground beef, cooked and drained, kidney beans, a can of kidney beans, a package of taco seasoning, large can of the diced tomatoes. You can get the kind, I usually get it with the extra Italian seasoning in there or Mexican seasoning or whatever. And then a can of corn. Obviously you can add some other things to it if you want, but that is the 5 core ingredient of taco chili. And then you top it with some sour cream and some shredded cheese. And I like to scoop it with exactly what Susan has in that picture, the Frito scoops. They're the best. And what's interesting is that I see that, where did Melody's go? Melody, you said, by the way, taco chili, chef's kiss. So Melody, you must have made it as well. So you guys are the absolute coolest. I adore you guys. I'm glad you liked it. Again, if you want to spice it up, you can add some some extra hot sauce. But it's a great basic core chili, and I think it's really yummy. And when it's left over, there's other things you can do with it too. You can usually the liquid's kind of gone out of it after a while. You can mix it with some tortillas. You can make a little taco salad out of it, crunch up some of those Tostito chips in there. Anyway, I'm glad you liked it. All right, let's move on. I'm almost done. Critters. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this is not the picture. I had to get this one because I couldn't find the other one when I went back to look for it. Black bears. We talk about snakes. We talk about gator water. We talk about our alligators. We talk about our spiders. We talk about our snakes. We talk about the love bugs. We talk about all of the things. But did you know that the Florida black bear exists? And this is a map. Again, this was taken by the website for our area of where the bears are most frequently seen. And you can see there in Orlando, Central Florida, they do exist. And typically it's trash cans that they're after. So if you happen to be an area where you have heard of or neighbors have mentioned black bears, yeah, I know it's kind of scary, right? We got alligators, we got black bears, crazy snakes and spiders and love bugs. I take a love bug any day over a black bear, but they do exist, and they usually go for your trash cans. So I believe, wow, this just popped into my head and I can't remember. I believe there is a place where they have a special thing that you can put on your trash can to kind of lock the lid. I don't know. I'll have to look that up, and I'll report back to you next week. Anyway, all right, my friends, I think that is about it. I'm looking at all my little doodads, my little buttons over here, and I think that's about it. And that is good timing because it's 10:02. That means it has been exactly 1 hour, my friends. So as always, don't forget, let me do my little promo. Don't forget that you can call me or text me at 407-848-8042 anytime. Give me that call, give me that text, and let's get you going if you're looking to buy or sell a home here in the Central Florida area. Not just Horizon West, although that's my little nugget, but anywhere out and about and around it. And let me just tell you, the area is growing so much. All of Wellness Way and Olympus coming up. So Claremont, Mineola, all of this is just so close and accessible. So we are really just grooving and growing. So as always, guys, I thank you so much for joining in and hanging out with me this morning. Do not forget, go get your Krispy Kreme, free cup of Joe, and a free donut today. And why not ask? Hey, it's National Coffee Day. Why not ask where you're going? Hey, for National Coffee Day, you giving away a free small coffee? You never know. They might give you what I refer to as the nice person discount. So anyway, all right, my friends, I absolutely adore you guys. You have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. We've got some more tips and things for you. We'll follow up with what you need to do on move-in day 1. And of course, as always, just know that I want you to stay safe. Please stay safe, stay well, and remember I love you. Have a great day, guys. Love and hugs. Bye-bye.